So here we are at Skelbo Castle. Now, I've been to a lot of castles, literally hundreds of castles, and out of all the castles, this is probably the most rubbishest. It just looks like a farmhouse which is fallen down and it's rubbish. This particular castle was built in the 14th century, but there was a castle here before, and I know that because it was owned by the Sutherlands. The Sutherlands. You remember that guy who's got a 100-foot tower, 100-foot statue on top of a mountain? Well, that's just over there, is the statue. And he owned this, and it got invaded and taken over by Robert the Bruce. Yeah, Robert the Bruce once invaded and took this place. So the last owner of this place, he actually died in 2009. What's that, 8 years ago, 7-8 years ago. He died, but he didn't leave a will. So who does the castle belong to? There's a big ooh-ah about it. Nobody knows. People are saying, oh, it's mine, it's mine. And it's all going through courts. It's been doing it for years. And we don't know what the final story is going to be. But I can assure you, I'm just being called over here. Hang on. Yes, Martin?
See, the castles look really, really crap.
The castle is rubbish, yeah.
Right. Look over there.
Look over there. I won't be a second, people. What? That's just a house.
That's the castle.
That's the castle.
Is that the castle? Are you sure?
Yep.
Yep.
This is the old castle, and that's the real castle.
Let's go to Skelbo Castle. I can't believe that. I've just been talking about a little building for no reason when castle's over there.
Well, that is a castle.
They're going to think I'm stupid.
That's a castle.
Is it a castle?
Yeah.
Oh, it is a castle. So yes, there is a big legal battle going on about this castle, and it's because it isn't this really rubbish ruin here. It's the big, lovely looking one over there, which we can't get to. Can't even get you a picture because it's hidden by trees. But that is the castle. Legal battle, and we don't know who's going to own it. I'm really sorry about this. It's not my fault. It's me, Martin, and MeJulie taking me to the wrong places. Right, we found out that isn't the castle, yeah?
Well, there's part of
That was the... Well, it is part of the castle, but that isn't what we're looking for. We've then found out it was there. That's the castle. But now we've found out that isn't the castle either. The castle's over here. This is getting really, really stupid. Welcome to Skelbo Castle.
At last.
Again. Right, this is definitely the right one. It looks more castle-y. Right, there's a story related to this. There's a local lass, right? She lives in the village. She came up here, it's a couple of centuries ago now. That's as accurate as MeJulie could be a couple of centuries ago. She came up here. She was just being nosy. She wanted to have a look around like I am today, basically. She came up here having a look round, and the guy who owned the castle, he didn't like people being on his property, so he murdered her. No excuse for that, is there? Just tell her to go away. Say, if you come back here again, I'm going to shoot you. Something like that. But no, he just killed her outright there and then and buried her. Now, this is where the story gets interesting. She is supposed to haunt the castle ruins, which, honestly, it's not. There's nothing hauntable unless you're going to stand on top of the wall. It's not proper ruins, it's just a wall. But she haunts it. But anyway, you can see some scaffolding up there, yeah? This is recent. In the last few years, they started doing some work trying to restore it. They haven't done a very good job. And whilst restoring it, they found a girl's body, a skeleton, just underneath the castle wall. So that story sounds like it is probably true. Woo! Ghost stories, don't we love them? Skelbo Castle, we think. Skelbo Castle. Right, I finally found a really, really interesting story about Skelbo Castle. I love this one. Didn't know, MeJulie just told me right at the last minute, look at this, look at this. Do you know I said Skelbo Castle was down there, and then we decided it wasn't, it was over there, and then we decided it was here? Well, the second one, it's like a big estate, and that's like the house of the estate, okay? That one there Somebody very famous got married there. Guess who? Go on, guess. No. No, it wasn't them either. No, do you give in? We could be guessing all day. Madonna and Guy Ritchie got married in that house. How cool is that? Like a prayer. I think we're into quite a heavily populated Pict area. We're looking at Picty things at the moment, which is old Scottish people from way, way, way back. And apparently just in this area they found 3 bodies from the 5th or 6th century. And there's one of them. There's an archaeologist very, very happily digging up his body. He's not here now. No bodies, no sign of a burial, just a sign with a picture on of his very proud work. Now this isn't old, it's quite modern, it's just a sculpture someone's done of what they call the Pictish Queen. So it's completely made up. They don't know what she looked like. It's looking a bit rude if you ask me. Look how pointed they are. And I don't see the point in it. There's nothing about that which looks like a Pictish queen. It's just completely made up and a sculpture by a local man. Rubbish. Right, we're actually in a museum at the moment and it's full of Pictish things. Pictish. There's a lot of carvings and things worth seeing. So I'll show you a few of them. Julie's just signed a disclaimer so that I can film. Thank you, Julie. That's from 1300 years ago. That's fantastic, and I don't know what this is. Presuming that's a cow. But there's one there with something in its mouth, it looks like. It has, it's got a dog in its mouth. I'm not very good at reading words, so MeJulie just read it, and it turns out it's a it's a cow licking its calf. This one's called the Dragon Stone because it's got a dragon on it. And that almost looks like a polar bear. Surely they wouldn't have had a polar bear on there. They didn't have polar bears around here in Pictish times, did they? They didn't have any kind of bears, did they?
I'm not sure when the brown bears died.
Oh, we might have had brown bears. You've got one here, the inscriptive stone, and it's got words on it. Now I can translate that for you. It says, "In the name of Jesus Christ, the cross of Christ, in memory of Rio Lilius, on this day." It says so there. Rio Lilius. Envelope openers. What other than?
For your cloak.
For your cloak? Oh, I thought they were for opening letters. I have to say that is the most random thing I have ever seen in a museum in my life. An X-ray of a sickle. Now we're talking. That is absolutely beautiful. Look at that. Proper big cow. And that's from the 5th to 7th century. Found around here. And the woman on the front desk says a lot of the things in here were actually found on the beaches around here. So I'm going to be coming back here to metal detect. When MeJulie's gone, there's some nice beaches around here, so I'm going to do around here, I think. Right, we're in the crypt of the church here. Now, this was built in the 13th century. Very old. But the top of it was rebuilt in, when was that? Must have been in the 1500s, something like that, or after. But you can see at the bottom here, it's all green. All the way around, it's green. And that's part of the old monastery. Was it a monastery or a church? Monastery. That was all part of the old monastery. And they think that could be linked in with a fire, could be due to a fire, a very famous fire. Now the fire was, there was a fight between two clans, the Rosses and the Mackays. The Rosses chased all the Mackays into this church, locked them all in and set fire to it, burnt it down. That was in 1481. So all this green here you're seeing is probably, we're not 100%, but it's probably from the fire of 1481. Where all the Mackays died. God, just think there might have been loads of people actually died in here during a little battle. Just found a whale's vertebrae. Now, MeJulie and Martin know that because they've been reading the sign. It says whale vertebrae there. I didn't need it. I'll tell you why. Can you see it down here? It's pretty big, pretty big. But can you remember I found a fish's vertebrae on the beach early on this trip and I had no idea what it was, and then I saw one in a museum later and it was a fish's vertebrae and it looked just like that but much smaller. So yeah, I actually knew that, Martin. Are you impressed?
Oh, yeah.
This is off part of a grave from outside in the graveyard of someone from the McLeod enclosure, and I'm only showing you it because just look at the things on it. You've got a cannon, everything to do with battle there with the flags and the drums, the cannon. Then you've got a lion playing a harp, and on this side you've got your sea side of it, so you've got the anchor and the sail. So fighting and fishing was pretty much what they did back in them days. This is what we want to find, guys. A cannonball from the Spanish Armada around 1588 on a beach round here off the coast of the Dornoch Firth. Don't get one of these cars, they're rubbish. They've broke my door. I can't get in my door, I'm doorless. Every other door opens except mine. It's like a premonition. I didn't break it, I just shut it. All I did is shut the door. Okay, we've fixed the seat. We fixed the door. But it was after I've had to sit in the back of the car. We've dumped everything on the front seat and we've set off. And the alarm's gone off now because it thinks there's someone sat on the front seat who isn't wearing a seatbelt. So now Julia is in the process of putting a seatbelt on all the coats. Do you think you can manage to drive now without doing all wrong? Oh, hang on, I ain't got my seatbelt on. Hello and welcome to Carbisdale Castle. Wonderful story behind this one. It was built in between 1906 and 1917. It took them 11 years. And it was built for a reason. Here's a story about a family feud. So it was built for a lady called Mary Caroline, who became the Duchess of Sutherland. She married one of the Sutherland families, Sutherland men. I think he was an earl or a lord or something like that. And she married him. She had a nice life with him. And he died. He died and he left everything to her. But the thing is, she was like his second wife. He'd had another wife and a kid before. So this kid was contesting the will, saying, hang on a minute, this should be mine, not yours. You're just his second wife, you were a nobody. This is mine, I'm his son, I should have it. So it all went to court. Whilst it was going to court, this lady burnt a load of documents, which pretty much was probably going to say that the son would get the inheritance. So she got sent to prison. She got sent to London, went to prison for 6 weeks. So the legal battle went on, and they ended up settling out of court. The Sutherland family ended up turning around to Mary Caroline and saying, look, I'll tell you what, we want the money, yeah, but what we're going to do is we'll build you a big castle, but we're not going to build it on our land. It's not going to be built on our estate. You can have a lovely castle off the estate. And she agreed to it. So they settled out of court and they built this for her. As I say, it was in 1906 to 1917. That's when they built it. And she got the builders. She got the builders in, made this lovely castle. And as you can see up there, there's a big clock tower. Now, there's a clock on each side. There's one there, there's one on this side, and there's one on that side. On the other side, there isn't a clock. And you know why? Because that's facing where the Sutherlands are. And she didn't want to give them the time of day. She hated them. I thought that were a really cool story about the clock. And then in 1945, the family who had it then gave it to the Scottish Youth Hostel Association. So it was a youth hostel, which I think is really cool. But the castle got damaged by frost and it was going to cost them too much to repair it. So they ended up putting it up for auction. They made £1 million from it. I don't know who owns it now, no idea, but it says private property. We can't get in. There's work going on there. It looks pretty well restored actually. It looks like it's in perfect nick again. But yeah, that is the youngest castle I think I've ever seen. 1906 to 1917. That's very new. So it's pretty much telling you that the Sutherlands are scum, as we know. And this Lady Caroline were alright. We've got two ghosts for you in this castle. One is a lady who wears a white dress. They always wear white dresses, don't they? An employee who works here. Sorry about this, I'm being interrupted by MeJulie shouting at dogs. So this employee saw, next to a bush somewhere, saw a ghost of a lady in a white dress. And the same summer, two other people saw it as well. So there is a white lady there. There's also the ghost of a man who looks angry and distressed and is dressed up like the times of the Battle of Carbisdale, which I've mentioned to you before. It's where the Marquis of Montrose, wasn't it? Marquis of Montrose was fighting and he had twice as many men as the others, and he still got his head kicked in. He dressed up as a shepherd and he went running to the other house, and they handed him into the authorities, and he ended up being executed, hung, drawn and quartered. Can you remember that guy? Anyway, that's the Battle of Carbisdale, which is just next to here in a field. I'm guessing it's that one. Could be that one. I'm doubting very much it's that one. Yeah, Martin's wetting himself laughing now because it is actually that one. Not that one or that one, which I suggested it might be. As you can see, I've been kicked out of the car because they're making me say something I'm really not interested in saying. This is Scroggy Wood. Scroggy Wood. This is where the Battle of Carbisdale took place. And it's just trees and grass, which is why I didn't really want to get out of the car and say anything, because, you know, it's just not that exciting, is it? But this is where the battle took place, where the Marquis of Montrose got his butt kicked and undrawn and quartered and stuff. I've said it all. Martin, I've already said all this. I'm getting back in car. You know, can't keep repeating myself in videos. Ooh, there's a right swarm of flies around me. They're not mosquitoes, they're flies. There's hundreds of them. That's best bit of video.
Right, my sexy, beautiful, lovely peeps. Time to say who's donated in the last 24 hours. I've had a good night. Okay, here we go. Niall, $35. Marjorie Patterson, £10. Darren Lamble, £30. Radfura, €22.22. Jodie Hollich, $100. Larry Vering, $30. Sam Soward and Marina, £77. Oh, by the way, Sam, I haven't got an address you can send anything to. I just have to just say no to everybody. So I'm sorry, can't send me a package just yet till I get home. And one more, better not miss this one out. Robert Holt, $1,000. Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo-hoo! Robert Holt, $1,000. Good on you, my son. Good on you. What a beauty. What a great night. That is £846 raised since I last read out in yesterday's video. It's hard for me to explain because I'm filming this after you're watching the videos, like a lot later. But in my head, since I last looked, we've made £846 in 24 hours. So we're now up to £46,489. 55 days to go as I'm reading this. £64 a day. We can do that. £64 a day. Come on. I'm buzzing. Absolutely buzzing. That really put me in a good mood. On top of that, I've had some more good news. I don't know if you remember. What was it? I think I did a competition very early in this trip. Whoever donated the most within a month or something, the winner got a holiday. They won a week in Scotland, the north of Scotland. And Maz won that, and she went up there and she had a lovely time. Anyway, he's got in touch with me and said I can stay there for a week. It's a 4-star cottage. I can't wait. So I'm staying there on Saturday for a week. And the 2 days before then, I think he's sorting me out with a campsite nearby. So, absolutely buzzing. Don't have to worry about where I'm staying. Worry about, can I afford anywhere to stay? Worry about camping in the middle of nowhere. I've got something sorted. On top of that, I am within half of a day of finishing editing all my videos. They will keep you going until Sunday. Sunday. That will be the last one from me, MeJulie and me Martin. Will be next Sunday, and then the ones after that you're going to be getting ones from when I get off my butt, clean the car out, do all my washing, and then get metal detecting, which will be a couple of days. So buzzing. Thank you all so much for everything. Keep your donations coming in. diggingthecoast.com and click donate. All the links in the description. Thank you. All have a lovely day. I certainly will do, because I already have done. Bye bye on Digging the Coast. 3, 6, 5.